for a night. Yes, at least just one night. The A&M stood for Arch and Manning. Yes, Manning coming up with some big plays as Texas pulls away for a 27-17 victory against the Aggies. And now Texas sits in a position where Steve Sarkisian can go on the politicking trail. Now, I don't need to, I didn't ask Mikey to clip anything. We don't need to go back. You're a head football coach. You're politicking. Sure.
Mm-hmm. It's a great system.
Did Texas look good?
Defensively,
Weiser ran the ball okay. We'd seen that run game be really, really bad at times. Suspect at others. I thought it was a decent game for the Longhorns running the damn ball.
You remember Big Game Breakdown? We were like, oh, Sark says Hill's in. We were like, okay, that's inconsistent with what some of the stuff I think people were hearing. And he didn't play. So I thought their defense played really well with Hill being out. Obviously, their other backer was out for the first half. They held it together. How much is Marcel Reed's getting banged up? He didn't look right. And I've never been a big Marcel Reed guy, as our listeners know. But he looked like a level below. He looked like a level below what he usually looks, though. Especially post injury. So the two picks at the end were pretty rough. Texas played really good defense, and A&M just allowed too many explosives.
Yeah, there's a part of me that wonders, if Stark remembers he has a run game in the first half, or at least he could run the ball, if maybe this wasn't a blowout. Because I do think that, in the first half, Texas was just throwing, and it was not good. Arch was not playing well. Then they finally realized maybe we should lean more on our run game, and all of a sudden, they really started hitting those big plays in the second half, and the offense got humming, and they just looked so much better overall. So maybe if they start the game that way, it goes a lot differently. But, it was a good win for me. It keeps them in the conversation. I don't think that the results they needed today happened for them. I still think they're very much facing an uphill battle. I think they needed some certain teams to lose, and it just didn't happen. Although I guess Stanford could come back in the second half and beat Notre Dame. Who knows? But I don't know. It's
if we had seen Auburn pull off the Iron Bowl upset, and if we had seen Oklahoma actually get beat instead of hitting the Satania easy button to be able to pull away with the win against LSU, if all of those dominoes had all fallen, then yeah, you'd all of a sudden find yourself a lot closer to number 10. And as we've been talking about, you get to the 10 spot in the committee's rankings. That's the target for all these at-large teams.
And the other side of this conversation is Texas A&M playing its first real opponent since week 2. And they looked like a team that wasn't used to facing real opponents. They looked kind of stunned at times in this game when they were, going up against the Texas defense. Looked like, oh, wow, there are people that hit like that. I forgot. We haven't really had to deal with it much. So, yeah, it was a very bad timing. I showed you, Chip. I don't have the towel with me anymore. I gave it to my wife. It was a early Christmas gift. I got the Marcel Reed Heisman campaign stuff promo package in the mail yesterday, 10 minutes before this game kicked off. So the timing was.
Are we 0-2 now?
Yeah, because I got Haynes King the week before. So if you are an SID, I really appreciate that you keep me in mind.
But you will lose.
I would just say going forward, maybe think twice before you send me anything, because it does not typically work well.
And you live in such a remote area of the country. It makes sense that stuff takes months to get to you.
Mm-hmm.
You should move to a major city.
I should.
How far does A&M drop?
In playoff rankings or AP?
Playoff.
I think that they're outside the bye range, but I don't think they fall too far simply because this committee does still seem to be very hung up on the number of losses in the column.
I think they are having a conversation with Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech can surpass them. Although I would argue that Texas Tech doesn't have a win as good as Texas A&M's road win against Notre Dame.
I would agree with
you would be correct.
That. Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
That win is doing a lot for them because Auburn didn't make a bowl. Mississippi State got crushed. Florida didn't make a bowl. Arkansas didn't make a bowl. LSU again, lost. Missouri, kind of whatever, they beat Arkansas. South Carolina didn't make a bowl. Sanford, I don't know what the record is. Utah State won or covered.
And then also Texas Tech's loss is worse than Texas A&M's.
Texas Tech's loss. Yes.
Arizona State
Arizona
versus
State.
Texas. Yeah. So they might not drop past Texas Tech. It'll be interesting to see how the committee views them.
I don't know. See here, people who really have been getting into the selection committee stuff will actually talk about game control. Like some people who can really nail the projections, even going in week by week.
Mhm.
According to ESPN's game control, Texas Tech's number 4.
Yeah, they've been beating the piss out of teams.
Yeah.
Texas A&M's is not far off that, but I could see if Texas Tech dominates BYU in the Big 12 title game, well, shoot, if they do that, they're probably knocking on the door of a top 4 seed. Might not get it, but they'll at least be in that conversation.
No, I think Tech is in the conversation for a bye.
Yeah, if they beat BYU again next week, especially if they blow them out again, I don't know how you cannot give them one of the byes.
So that, I think, is how Texas A&M ends up in the final rankings, maybe pushed down a little bit, because Texas A&M can't do anything, and these other teams all have the ability to be able to improve their standing in the eyes of the committee. 13th data point, things of that nature.
I think they have to crush BYU, though. Like, if they squeak one out over BYU, I do not think they get a bye.
What about your answer to your question? Where do you think A&M goes?
Well, they're not going to drop below Notre Dame, right?
I don't think they're going to drop below Oklahoma or Alabama.
Oh, but oh my God, how funny would that be if they did? Like if the committee has Notre Dame ahead of both the teams it lost to?
They do have the really weak schedule within the SEC, right? Like we pointed out Ole Miss's schedule strength within conference being terrible, which is true. Obviously, A&M would say, yeah, well, we actually played Notre Dame. Ole Miss scheduled 4 cupcakes, right? So I don't think the committee's going to look that deeply into it. They probably, what are they, 6th, you think?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
But that's,
depending on if Bama beats Georgia.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think they are going to think too hard about this.
Agreed.
Loss sorter. Oh, okay. You used to have a 0. You are our 3rd ranked 0-loss team. Now you've got a 1. Okay,
Right.
Where do you fall among the 1-loss teams? Well, we like Georgia better. We like Oregon better. We like Ole Miss better. And then somewhere in there, I think is probably where Texas A&M falls. Something along those lines. Anything from the Aggies outside of, we mentioned it with Marcel Reed, the sort of cold water plunge of facing a team. Do you feel any different about their ability to win games in the playoff?
A little bit. Only because they are going to face better teams in the playoffs than they faced, in terms of like quality of athlete and caliber of team in all but 2 weeks. They really got the dregs of the SEC. They got Missouri when Missouri's quarterback was out. They played Mississippi State. They played a lot of like the really bad SEC teams. And the SEC has a lot of teams that were like 0-8, 1-7, 2-6 in conference, and A&M got most of them. Wisner got a lot of his runs when that D tackle for A&M went out. I forgot the kid's name, and it's obviously 1 a.m. now. But are they thinner on the D line in the middle? Do we realize I assume he's back, and it didn't seem like some catastrophic injury, but like the broadcast, I think, did a nice job pointing it out. McElroy was like, oh, with him out, they're moving these guys quite well. And Texas offensive line has not been very good this year. So, Onadiam, I'm not saying his kid's name right, but I had that in notes. Like, okay, maybe they're not quite as good on the interior past those first 2 guys.
So I've always looked at Texas A&M as like a Final Four team and not really a national title team. So my opinion hasn't changed.
I would mostly agree. I think if they play their fastball is good enough to win if they get the right matchups, I guess.
I think it's more difficult to get to the semis now that they won't have a bye.
I'm worried that one of the reasons I thought that they didn't have many weaknesses is because no one exposed their weaknesses.
That was part of it for sure. But if you looked at power ratings all year long, they've typically been in that like 5 to 8 range in most of them, even with
That
their
feels
record.
fair. I didn't have Texas A&M as like a top 3 team. I thought that the way that they were built made them potentially dangerous. You know, ooh, they can throw and they can run. Ooh, they've got a quarterback that can go on the move. They've got a dangerous pass rusher. Yeah, they're a little bit leaky on defense, but they can come up with big plays. You know, like I'd sort of built out the idea of the way it would look. I guess, Bud, to your point, the fastball, like on paper, if everybody plays well and they get some breaks, then it's a team that could go on a deep run. I don't think I don't think this game provided a ton except for a heat check on my expectations for what the Aggies will do, because every team they play in the playoff, well, most of the teams that they will play in the playoff will be a lot closer to the caliber that they faced on Friday night.
I don't want to like derail the show, and I do that at times. Jeremiah Love's Heisman odds are like plummeting. Is he out?
Got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt. He left the game with like some sort of like midsection injury.
He's back, but
he's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, obviously, he needed to have a huge game because Notre Dame doesn't play on championship weekend, and he's not having that so far. Okay. Like he went from 450 at kickoff to 1,600 now. So that's basically done. I thought it was done anyway. I didn't think he could really win it, but like not after the game saying had today. It's going to go to the winner of the Big Ten title game, I think, unless Pavia gets some kind of huge like Netflix push. But yeah, I noticed the change in odds there. Wanted to ask.
According to Matt Zenitz and 24/7 Sports, Ole Miss has a team meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow.
That's Central Time, right?
Should be.